First opportunity for you to hear from the owner and general manager after the Cowboys game in San Francisco. Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I thought that we knew we were going out there to play a really good team, and we basically, I wish we could have eliminated the third quarter.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. But still, there were parts of that game that I really liked what we were doing under the circumstances. And most of it in the first half, I really liked the way that we came back near the end of the ball game. We gave her a chance as a good play to Turpin there that if we could have made that play, that makes a big difference. But that's what you try to do in the NFL, is get in a spot where with 3 minutes left to go and timeout situation the way we had it, you've got a chance to win the game against a good team on the road.
Jerry, what did you guys evaluate as the breakdowns in that third quarter? And I think on the season, it's 61-19. You guys have been outscored in the third. What broke down the other night, and what do you think could be an overall problem coming out of the half?
You're 61-19 in the third quarter. Is that what you broke down?
Yes, sir.
In the third quarter?
Yes.
I think it's pretty easy to go. The facts are that our communication in our offensive line, we can improve on. I like our players in the offensive line, but we can improve on our communication. That's critical. That's in there. And that really played havoc with us there. Defensively, and this really has to do with my kind of point that I want to make this morning, is that I really do see that we've got the players, and we should have the players coming. Hopefully we'll get one or two of them back here against Atlanta. But I have a lot of faith in these players, and I have a lot of faith in this coaching staff. And so the big thing is that's what we've got, and that's reality. And so these players have a chance to get better. Their arrows are up, not down. And I'm talking in general here. Arrows are up, and this coaching staff is, I know firsthand. I spend a lot of time around them. The coaching staff's got their eye on the things that we need to improve on. We need to improve on communication across the board, and we can. It comes better as the season goes along. We'll get better with communication. And frankly, like all teams at this time, we'll have some players coming back that have played critical roles for us. We ought to get better, and we're 7 games into this thing, 17-game season. Let's get this thing turned around and have a storybook ending to a rough start.
Jerry Jones joined us here, 105 through the Fan. What did you think of the pick play on the touchdown?
Well, I just really was so happy that we had gotten picked, and was frankly dropped my teeth when the call went against us. And I just think that they had a clear view of it, and they gave it to the offense.
Jerry, what is it about San Fran that it seems like going into the game, that just you can never seem to get over the hump with San Francisco? What is it about them that's just so different?
Personally, and we don't need to go way back, but one of the second times, or one of the few times I've ever cried, literally cried, was the championship game that we had there at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And we lost that game, and I thought we had a great team, and we lost it when Switzer was our coach, and our Dion was a 49er, and we came back there, and I thought we had a chance to win it after a disastrous start. So I can go that far back with you on what San Francisco has meant to us. We've had some great days in San Francisco. I'll go back pretty far to have those great days, but they're a great franchise. They're formidable. We've got a great history with them, I don't think they've been to they've been to more playoff and more championship games than we have, but I think we're both needing to see a Super Bowl in the participation area.
Jerry, Dak seems to be a little hesitant to run with the ball this year, and the numbers show that he's had kind of a decline in terms of the number of rushing attempts he has each game. Is it a symptom of Dak's just not able to run like he used to, or is he choosing not to?
I think it's both. You really don't want to see him you don't want to see him really take off with that ball. These guys, these quarterbacks that run, they're going to get injured, and that happens. And happens to the youngest, happens to the best. It's happened to Dak. And so to the end that as we rely on him to stay healthy, that's an important part of it. I wouldn't say it's up there in red letters in the practice facility, don't run, but I would say that we want him to be smart about it, and he is being smart about it. However, he will, when he sees the opportunity, pull it down and run with it, as we know. And with the situation the other night, you could say, well, when does making yards count any more than that? It's easy to see. It's easy to compare. And as cricket, that's fair. When the opposing quarterback you got is really complementing what they're doing with their offense, with his running. But I'm satisfied with Dak in terms of his ability to run is there. There's no question about that. As far as him physically, he can run, and if we look back on it, you'll see times this year. But we want Dak in the future to do the kind of job with his arm and get the ball out to the outside. You see us trying to do that a lot. And make up for anything we might want to do risky. I don't want to see him take those kinds of hits.
Jerry, you gave out a lot of big cash in long-term contracts to your core guys this offseason. Do you keep a constant sort of week-by-week evaluation on whether you're getting good return on your investment, or do you prefer to consider those sort of things at the end of the season when you get a complete picture?
Well, neither one of them. I basically was well aware of our commitment to Lamb and well aware of our commitment to Dak. They were really the principal reason you saw that all-in thing so much. I wanted to make that commitment with Dak. And so to answer your question, I don't look at it. Matter of fact, I'm not so sure I look at anything as succinctly as that game or that situation as giving you, the kind of return. I've always looked at the dollars we spend in football and on the roster. I've always looked at them as scholarships. And you give one player 5 scholarships. If it were college vernacular, you give another player 1 scholarship. The more guys you can have out there with the 1 scholarship, the better off you are because of attrition. Our game is built in that you're going to lose, and you got to have people behind them to play. And you can, when you give a lot of scholarships to any one player, then in terms of your cap, in terms of the dollars, then that's much less you got to give to another player. But we're seeing right now, in some degree, the system at its best as far as the impact it can have. And it's your depth. You've got to bring that depth forward. And when you've used a lot of your scholarship money on several players, then that depth's got to be young. Not necessarily not talented, but young. Young means more mistakes, always. Young means less ability to communicate out there until they get it down. So that's the way I look at it.
Do you ever get buyer's remorse?
No, not at all. Yesterday is as dead as Napoleon. Can't get yesterday back anymore. You can go get Napoleon. It's today, right now, and going forward. Always going forward. Can't do one thing about that San Francisco game today. Now, the things that impacted the San Francisco game, if you have a chance to get better there, which you can, then that's what you should be looking at. The other day when we had a dust-up here on our program, a part of my response had to do with I'm spending, if you recall, looking at today, I'm looking ahead at that day. That was looking ahead at, if you will, San Francisco even. And that's where your attention's got to be spent.
Jerry, as owner and GM, you've obviously made sure to put a team of people around you that you trust with various areas of expertise to make sure, hey, we're fielding the best team possible. Are there times when you say, hey, I've got this decision before me. I feel one way, but the guys in the bunker kind of feel another way. I'm going to trust them. I'm going to go that direction despite seeing it differently. Yes,
there are. That's why have them if you're not going to do that. And so I happen to know that their decisions don't have to be right. And when they've made a decision, but the reason I know that is how many I've made that aren't right. And so that's, we discussed this before right here, that you're 50-50 on decisions when you're clicking. It's what you do with the bad decisions after you make them, how you work out of those, and how you let your good ones run long and get rid of your bad ones or make them work when they shouldn't be working. And that's been my experience.
So, Jerry, you have said consistently as owner and GM, the buck has to stop with you because of those titles. But when you decide to trust that consensus over maybe how you felt about something and the consensus ends up being wrong, why shouldn't those negative outcomes potentially be the responsibility of the people who advised it?
Well, they should. They absolutely should. And the buck does stop. And Mike is here, and I'm glad he's here, frankly, Mike McCarthy. But Mike's here at my volition, and that's what you deal with when you make decisions. You guys do it every day when you get to your decision. And you can make decisions in the spot I'm in. You can make decisions by acquiesce to the decision. You can make them of your own volition, where you say, we're going this way. I know you guys see it that way. We're going this way. I've done it all my life.
Jerry Jones here on Shan and RJ every Tuesday, brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. By the way, how's the family after the accident, and what is a rising barrier? What the hell is that?
Well, as you enter these high-profile areas, and your stadiums are high profile. As you enter those nowadays, if a car goes in within a certain distance to the stadium, it's highly protected. And in this particular case, they've got lifts that can, frankly, if the trigger is flipped, can stop a car in its tracks. And this is the case, and comes up under the car. In this particular case, the car was totally busted, all the frame, everything. It's tremendous force, like if a small explosion had gone off under there. Tremendous. And those were the things that created the injuries. And I think my daughter's wasn't feeling as good as she hoped she'd feel yesterday and today. My son, who was concussed, is feeling better.
That's good to hear. Jerry, I was very impressed with Micah and Trevon Diggs yesterday. They were giving explanations and why there's probably an overreaction to 3 and 4, and they were just really upbeat and positive. When you guys are struggling, how often do you check in on the emotion of the locker room versus, just X's and O's and on the field assignments? And are you doing that right now? Are you like, hey, how are the guys when you're in your meetings? How much do you judge and check in on the emotional part versus on the field?
So much of that is so much of that is spontaneous. So much of that is you can't fake that stuff. It's real. These guys have a lot on the line, even the ones that weren't in the game that are part of this team and maybe going to be on the field the next week. They're very involved in the aspect of their position as a part of a team. And everybody has their own way of dealing with it. Some people are vocal, some people aren't. You can show frustration, manifests itself in a lot of ways. For me, it doesn't, in a tight time, to see emotion. But more importantly, that coupled with doing something about it, that is a big deal. And people show that emotion differently. But boy, this is an emotional game, and it shows me when I see that kind of frustration. I don't look at it negatively. I look at it as they're into it. And believe you me, these players today uniquely are so involved in social media that they hear everything that's whispered because social media does that. And so they're very, very sensitive. You can shut a lot of this stuff out when you want to shut it out. Now, I don't believe there's anybody living that wants to be dealing with adversity. You'd rather it be smooth sailing all the time. That's not this game. That's not this game with the media. You guys, you do a great job. You're probing. You're into it. Those probes into it. You ask questions that these guys are fair game, and they should be. They're fair game. It's not like meeting up with somebody on the street. And your questions can run deep. That's what they do. They're out there to do what it is that they may be unhappy with themselves, and it's being pointed out by media, which you represent the fans. That's the way it goes.
Jerry, you brought up social media there, and Trevon Diggs got into it with a media member after the game. He went into the locker room, checked social media, saw a tweet that was posted, came out with a reaction. When you see one of your players do that, listening to the outside noise, is that an indication to you that their focus might be elsewhere?
Not at all. Not at all. They're focused on, they're disappointed that they didn't make a play, or they are more aware than anybody about what they might not have done, where they busted an assignment, could have made a play. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I have absolutely no compunction in dealing with emotion. Now, we all realize that we need to, if you will, bite your lip where you need to, and to that end, you want to not overdo it. I don't even need to remind you guys. I heard you build up to the show just a minute ago, and you were on with Tarika, and you were kind of giggling about the dust-up that we had. And so bottom line is, guys, this is an emotional game, and it doesn't alarm me in any way to see the manifestation of emotion.
Jerry, I'll try to end this with a laugh. I'll say this then duck, but Diggs, at the end of the confrontation, used a line that I was wondering if you had ever heard of before. Are you familiar at all with D's nuts?
Well, there's in that context, no. I'd have to hear it said in context.
Okay. I'll send you the audio. I'm not going to say it to you, and I'm not going to rephrase it to you,
I want to know what it looks like. I'm sitting here with a half smirk.
All right. Jerry, we appreciate it. Best of luck this weekend. Let's go get a W. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, guys.